All right, so we're back. Sorry, there was some issues there. I did want to look at film, but I guess that's not going to happen. Let's wait for some people to file in here. Let me just make sure everything's good on the microphone. This should be much better. Yeah, here we go. Let me just put this Discord. I want to let people get back in here. So yeah, I mean, we were talking. So I want to get into. Let's make sure that we're. I want to. I can't believe that this is happening. This stupid live stream stuff. I mean, this should be going fine. Is this going well? I want to wait for some people to get in here before we see how we're looking right here. God, the camera's blurry. I can see the camera's blurry. What is going on? Can people see me? How's the camera look? How's everything looking? Is this blurry again? Oh my God, what is going on? Why is this not working? I don't understand. I don't get this. I really don't. Why is it blurry? Why would it do this to me? Why would it do this to me? Are you out of your mind? Live. It's blurry. Why is it blurry? Why is it blurry? Why did I go? What? Everyone else's live's fine. My stream bitrate. This is so stupid. I want to go live. The screen would be blurry. That's what's happening, huh? Let's go upstairs, see what's going on. Tell me how it's doing. This has never happened before, I might add. I can't believe that the screen is blurry. How am I doing now? The screen is blurry. It's unbelievable. It's just like they don't want this to happen. So here we go. How's this? Is this better? How are we doing now? Is that downstairs bullshit? Is it better? Jesus Christ. It's fucking internet shit. All right. Is this better? I'm going to go on YouTube and see that this thing's working now. Is that what's going to happen? Awful coaching. This is unbelievable. Wow, it's working now. All right. Well, that was good. We just screwed that up. Where is all right, I got it. Hold on. I don't know, maybe I should try StreamYard. Son of a... Now I can't go back to StreamYard. All right, whatever. All right, so, I mean, I wanted to look at film. I was on StreamYard. I'm not. We'll start with the J.B. Bickerstaff and Kenny Atkinson hirings. It's a complete disgrace. It's an absolute disgrace. Go look at the Kings film. Go watch. Go look at Kings Warriors playing game. That's what the Cavs hired. I wish I was on StreamYard so I could do this. So I don't know. I want to be on StreamYard. This is annoying. But anyways, the Bernie Bickerstaff and J.B. Bickerstaff hirings are a disgrace. And all of us get ruined by this. All of us. There's no point in being good at life because you'll just get an NBA job. J.B. Bickerstaff was terrible in Cleveland, hedging ball screens, letting the ball handler turn the corner. Constantly, not even guarding screens. That's who the Pistons hired. Cavaliers, it's the same thing with the Cavs. You hired Kenny Atkinson, who was he was the associate head coach in Golden State. Go watch the Warriors film. There's no reason for the Cavs and Pistons the next 5 years don't have to play the games. The Cavs are going to be a first or second round team the next 3 years. Donovan Mitchell will leave. Kenny Atkinson will get fired. And then they'll go back to being terrible. What's the and the Pistons? They're going to be awful. The Pistons are going to be terrible for the next 3 years, and Bernie Bickerstaff will get fired. I can fix these teams. I can fix them. I will. Anyways, free agency. Yeah, at Cavs Dan. Dan Gilbert does not care about the Cavs and winning. Does not care about it. You wouldn't hire Kenny Atkinson. Go look at the film. Go look at the film. You'd have me come in there and fix it. He does not care about the Cavs winning. He does. Neither do the Pistons. Arn Tellem, Trajan Langdon, Tom Gores. They don't care about winning. They don't care about winning. You just hired J.B. Bickerstaff. You do not care about winning. You do not. Yeah, and I don't know if you guys have seen the have you seen the Indiana Fever film that I posted? What a complete dreck that is. It is a disgrace what they're doing to Caitlin Clark. An absolute disgrace. That is offensive what they're doing to Caitlin Clark and the Fever. The Indiana Fever should have a great record. They should be at the top of the league. And you have that. What's the Fever's coach's name? Sides. It's atrocious. They got lucky and won yesterday because the Phoenix Mercury, whose head coach is Nate Tibbetts, who's also a disaster. Go look at the film from yesterday's Mercury Fever game. It was complete junk. Now, all right, and so here's what we're not going to do talking about free agency. We're not going to talk about moves that don't, yes, at Cavs Dan. At Cavs, let's get some stuff up here. I want to, see, at awful coaching, no. Let's get my, I'm going to pin that. Okay. So, so we're not going to talk about in free agency as moves that don't matter. You want to know a move that doesn't matter? The DeJounte Murray trade. The Atlanta Hawks are complete garbage. Total and utter dreck. They're going to be terrible. By the way, they owe 3 picks to the Spurs the next 3 years. They're going to be terrible. You have Quinn Snyder. You're not going anywhere. The Pelicans they got, the Pelicans get DeJounte Murray. Who cares? Means nothing. They had Zion Williamson play almost all 82 games this year. What'd they end up? Play in 8 seed bounced. They're going to end up trading Brandon Ingram probably. So you might have just gotten worse, actually. So that's a nothing trade. There's nothing to talk about. These people get on the air and they say, oh, this, oh, that with DeJounte. Who cares? It's a nothing move. The Pelicans are going nowhere. And Willie Green is still coaching the Pelicans. Still. That is beyond, I can't even fathom what that is. Willie Green coaching the Pelicans. Go watch Pelicans film. Go watch it. I've done plenty. Now, so free agency. I mean, Klay Thompson going to Dallas. First of all, the Denver Nuggets are done. The Denver Nuggets are completely cooked. And that entire nepotism coaching staff will never have to hear. Can I not hear David Adelman's name ever again? Why is Rick Adelman's pathetic son an assistant coach with the Nuggets? Watch. They're going to go back to losing and losing and losing. They do not have enough depth. Nikola Jokic, Michael Porter Jr., Jamal Murray, Aaron Gordon with no depth. They're going to be starting like Peyton Watson at shooting guard. So the Nuggets are cooked. The West, there is an opening in the West. The West is getting weaker. Denver is not as good as they were. It's OKC and Minnesota at the top. I'd love to see the Lakers make a move. Now, Klay Thompson going to Dallas, I don't think matters, really. I don't think the Mavericks are going back to the finals. I don't know how. I mean, Micah Nori allowed the Mavericks go to the finals with that drop coverage junk. Paul George of the Sixers. That is meaningful. The Sixers are clearly, they're either second or third with the Knicks. That would be a great series in the second round. Boston's still going to go to the finals. They just re-signed Derek White, just re-signed Jason Tatum. The Celtics are for sale, by the way. But yeah, I mean, Mikal Bridges to the Knicks, that's meaningful. I mean, the East has got a really great top three. And then Doc Rivers has ruined the Bucks. Here's what we're not talking about. And I see people, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope signing with the Magic is meaningless. Completely meaningless. Does not do a thing for the Magic. Nothing. The Magic are still a 4 or a 5 seed and a second round team. So that does nothing. There's nothing to discuss there. God, I really wanted to go on StreamYard and show you film. But, getting back to the Kenny Atkinson and J.B. Bickerstaff hires, like, what's the point? What is the point of life? J.B. Bickerstaff and Kenny Atkinson have done nothing but suck at their jobs. Nothing but suck at their jobs. And yet they're getting they're head coaches again. Kenny Atkinson was a disaster in Brooklyn. Go look it up. Was a disaster in Brooklyn. The Cavs are going nowhere with Cavs. Dan does not care about winning. Does not care about, you just hired Kenny Atkinson. You have no chance of getting out of the second round with Kenny Atkinson. Absolutely none. There's no point in life. What's the point of life? What's the point of working hard, trying to get good at things when someone like Kenny Atkinson's a head coach again? What's the point? And then he was just the associate head coach in Golden State. Why was he even the associated coach in Golden State? I wanted to get on StreamYard. Shit. Is there a way to show film? I don't know if it's even worth it at this point. I wish there was a way to show film. I'm not on StreamYard. That's the problem. But let's see here. Share screen. Oh boy, I can share screen. Interesting. Yes, the lemon pepper era. We have a lot to discuss with that. But yeah, it's just like, it's a joke. And J.B. Bickerstaff's a head coach for the Pistons. You do not care about winning. You go watch the Cavs film. The Cavs are trying to hedge ball screens against the Celtics, letting the ball handler turn the corner every single time. Every single time the ball handler was allowed to turn the corner. That's who the Pistons just hired. And then multiple times in that game, they weren't even guarding screens. Guys would come off screens. No one was guarding it. Just layup line, wide open three. So it's just, yeah, lemon pepper. That's right. That's the lemon pepper era. Right. And it just pains me to no end. The Lakers could very well be in the Western Conference is not that good. Memphis is going to be back, but I don't think the Grizzlies are that great. You have OKC and Minnesota, and both teams certainly have their warts. Isaiah Hartenstein going to the Thunder is, I don't know. He was better on New York. But yeah, I mean, the West is completely wide open. You got OKC, Minnesota at the top. I guess I don't know that I trust the Mavericks. I really do not think the Mavericks are getting back to the finals. So who's next? You got Memphis. Oh, by the way, can we all give a round of applause? A nice round of applause for Tyronn Lue. You complete pile of disgust. You ruined the Clippers. Good job, Steve Ballmer. You hired Tyronn Lue, who just destroyed your franchise. You're opening into a new arena. The team's going to be crap. Kawhi Leonard will get hurt. Tyronn Lue. And you just extended him. And you just extended the man that wrecked your franchise. Let's give a nice job, Steve Ballmer. You just gave an extension to the person that just destroyed your franchise. The Clippers are done. Get them out. So yes, the Western Conference is wide open. The Clippers are cooked. The Nuggets are cooked. The Grizzlies are back, but they're not that. I'm not that afraid of the Grizzlies. Who am I missing? New Orleans is nothing. New Orleans is a pile of nothing. I mean, the Warriors, I guess they're trying to trade for Lauri Markkanen. If they trade for Lauri Markkanen, the Warriors will be a threat. The Lakers should have some move up their sleeve. They've got 3 first-round picks. They can still be a threat. But the West is wide open now. Minnesota and OKC are very flimsy at the top. You can easily penetrate those 2 teams and win. Now, J.J. Redick, of course, said we're going to use math, which is AKA we're going to use drop coverage. So the Lakers will be poorly coached again. They will be poorly coached again. But, I mean, you got to really give a shout-out to Tyronn. Tyronn Lue, great job, you terrorist. You ruined the Clippers. Tyronn Lue, Doc Rivers, followed by Tyronn Lue, destroyed the Clippers. And now Doc Rivers is ruining another team in the Bucks. That's the NBA for you. Doc Rivers destroyed the Clippers. They hire his brain-dead assistant, Tyronn Lue. He goes in now, and Tyronn Lue now gets to take over the Clippers. He runs them into the ground. And now Doc Rivers is doing the same thing in Milwaukee. That's the NBA for you, though. It's just brain dead after brain dead. And you just saw it, and you just saw it with the Pistons and Nuggets, or the Pistons and Cavs. That's what happens. You hire people that are terrible at their jobs and continue to rehire them. That's what you do. And you're not going to win. Cavs Dan, Cavs Dan, Cavs Dan, Cavs Dan. It's disgusting. It's disgraceful. Go look at the tape. I really want to share screen so we can look at the tape here of J.B. Bickerstaff's last game with the Cavs and then Kenny Atkinson's work with the Warriors. Should we share screen and go over that? You want to see how awful that was? That's what the Cavs hired. And they had their stupid press conference today. And I heard Kobe Altman, who's human garbage, talk about, all the great minds that J.B. Bickerstaff worked for. What great minds? Steve Kerr? Go look at the mind of Steve Kerr and Kenny Atkinson. It's disgusting. It's disgraceful. And nobody talks about it. Nobody. The J.B. Bickerstaff, Kenny Atkinson, that should have led NBC News tonight. National news at 6:30. Should have led the news. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. That is so... Yeah, and you have the Phoenix Suns are another team. They hired Mike Budenholzer. You're going to be in deep drop coverage with Yusuf Nurkic. You're not getting out of the first round. Matt Ishbia does not care about winning. Matt Ishbia. And I have a real close friend that's very tight with Matt Ishbia. I should be put in touch so I can fix that. There is no team with a bleaker future than the Phoenix Suns. None. Matt Ishbia does not care about winning. You hired Mike Budenholzer. You do not care about winning games. None. So, back to free agency. What were we talking about? Oh, free agency. So the Paul George thing is big. The Eastern Conference playoffs will actually be interesting next year. Thank God. Now, Nick Nurse, of course, will do everything in his power for the Sixers not to win anything. But, yeah, we can get the link in the Discord. Can I get my friend in LA? Can you send link in Discord so I can share it in the chat, please? I want to get that Discord going. Let's also remember, you can also reach out to me on Twitter. That's my Twitter right there. So, but yeah, I mean, it is like the NBA, it's every year. It's so sad for like the fans and the players. It's just so sad. Thanks, Jax. Thank you, Jax, for putting that in there. So, but it's just nepotism. Nepotism. That's what you have. If any of our fathers were Bernie Bickerstaff, we'd be coaching the Pistons right now. The Pistons just hired someone that is everything wrong with society. Everything wrong with society and Earth. So the 76ers, though, getting back to Paul George, yeah, I mean, the Sixers are going to be really good. The Eastern Conference playoffs, assuming everyone can stay healthy, will be great next year with the Knicks and 76ers. It will not be a Celtics steamrolling to the finals. I would still probably slightly put New York. I'd put New York second. I'd put Philadelphia third. Boston one. Those are the three teams that can get to the finals. That's the three teams. And in the West is wide open. Minnesota and Oklahoma City are not that scary. Certainly in a playoff series, not that scary. First of all, Mark Daigneault's awful with the Thunder. They could get both, and Chris Finch is atrocious with the Timberwolves. But the West is wide open. Denver's done. The Clippers are done. Who else we got? Dallas is not that scary. Did you see their finals performance? Not that scary. Just don't run drop coverage and you can beat them. What else? Who else? Who am I forgetting in the West? New Orleans, don't care. Houston, not really. Who else? Who else is in the West? I'm forgetting someone in the West. Phoenix, absolute disaster. The Western, it's actually fair. The Sacramento Kings, get out, don't care. The Western Conference is actually wide open right now. Wide open. And the Lakers, if you have JJ Redick, who's going to run drop coverage and run the Lakers. And the Lakers could make, or Warriors could make a big move and get up to the top of the West and actually win that thing. Now, Steve Kerr will do everything in his power for the Warriors not to win. So it's exciting. The West is wide open, and this whole apron thing has really destroyed the Nuggets. They lost Bruce Brown. Now they lose KCP. Yeah, I mean, the Warriors with Klay, I don't think Klay Thompson leaving is that big of a deal. They need to make a big move. You know, if the Lakers or Warriors could get their hands on Lauri Markkanen, that's the move right there. Lauri Markkanen and Anthony Davis would be perfect in that front court. Perfect. You'd have Anthony Davis rim protecting, Lauri Markkanen stretching the floor. You know, the Lakers have 3 first-round picks to offer. They have D'Angelo Russell's salary. You can throw in Austin Reeves. So, yeah, I mean, but yeah, I mean, honestly, for next year, honestly, again, I always say about 20 teams, there's no point in them playing the next 5 years. 20 teams have no chance of going anywhere in the NBA in the next 5 years. None. And the Cavs and Pistons are sadly one of them. The Suns are sadly one of them. The Lakers, unless they make a big move, are going to be one of them. It's just sad. I just feel terrible for the fans. I mean, I was talking about the Toronto Raptors the other day. Darko Rajakovic, I think, is the worst coach in the NBA. If you watch Raptors film and that defense, I think Darko Rajakovic of the Toronto Raptors is the singular worst coach in the NBA. Complete dreck. Yeah, I mean, my name is Donald Hadesman. I should be fixing these things. I could fix the Cleveland Cavaliers tomorrow. I could go fix the Cavs tomorrow easily. No drop coverage. We're icing and hedging all screens. We're actually going to guard down screens and cross screens. Done. I mean, you look at it. Every team scores over 100 points in the NBA. Offense does not matter in the NBA. Everyone's going to score over 100. Defense is how you win games in the NBA. If you can keep teams consistently under 100, and if you're well coached defensively, no team in the NBA should be giving up over 100 points. Defense is all about coaching and scheme. Okay, so if you had me come in there, I would make any team I could hold under 100. Okay, and they would win. This is it's just complete dreck. What else in free agency? There's so many moves, so many meaningless moves. Najee Marshall signed with the Mavericks. Who cares? Means nothing. I love these write-ups they have of free agents. Najee Marshall does not do anything. Anything. By the way, I'm not sure that the Mavericks didn't get worse with signing Klay Thompson because Derrick Jones Jr. was actually very good for them defensively. Klay Thompson looks cooked. God, the West is wide open. Could the Lakers or Warriors please make a move? And again, this is the funny thing. Steve Kerr's peanut brain, and by the way, his son is the head coach of the G League team, so you have more nepotism garbage with the Warriors. People keep asking me to talk about the Brooklyn Nets. The Brooklyn Nets are dreadful. The Brooklyn Nets are going nowhere, and the Brooklyn Nets have no reason to play basketball the next 5 years. None. Going nowhere. The Spurs signed Chris Paul. That's meaningless. Chris Paul's cooked, except for teams will definitely run drop coverage and constantly give him open mid-range jumpers. Greg Popovich is a disgrace. Maybe the Spurs could make a move in the West. I wouldn't mind seeing that. The San Antonio Spurs could make a move. The West is wide open. Minnesota and OKC right now are the top 2 teams in the West. I do not trust them at all. Do not trust. There's an opening in the West. The West is not that good. Yeah, I mean, Obi Toppin signing with the Pacers, who cares? The Indiana Pacers are first-round fodder, if assuming everybody in the East stays healthy. If the Knicks stay healthy, if the Bucks stay if the Knicks stay healthy, if the 76ers stay healthy, who am I missing? If the Bucks stay healthy, the Indiana Pacers will be one round and done. Rick Carlisle's a joke. So, it's just sad, though. It's just sad. Any NBA team that gives up under 100 points wins lots of games. Let's check a look at the text. Okay. So any NBA team, the Cavaliers, the Pistons, and by the way, are we tweeting at Cavs Dan? Are we tweeting at Cavs Dan that you do not care about winning if you keep having the defense that Kenny Atkinson will play? You do not care about winning. You do not care about winning. How sad is that? But the Cavs are not the only team. The Suns, the Pelicans don't care about winning. You have Willie Green coaching that team. You do not care about winning. The Pelicans have no interest in winning. You have human vomit as your head coach. The Pelicans don't care about winning. The Hawks don't care about winning. You have Quinn Snyder. Look at the Hawks defense last year. Go look up that doozy when they gave up 73 to Luka Doncic and look at how pathetic that DB. You don't care about winning. You don't. The Magic are the same. The Orlando Magic, same thing. Magic are never getting out of the second round of the playoffs. None. Their cap space is gone. They just spent it on KCP. It's gone. Magic don't care about winning. You have Jamal Mosley. Go watch Game 7 of the Cavs Magic series. Do not care about winning. Do not care about it. Now, one of my good friends who has never helped me in his life, but might help me out with the Charlotte Hornets owner, Rick Schnall. Maybe get in touch with them. The Charlotte Hornets next year, if I went to the Charlotte Hornets, they would be a top 3 seed in the East. A top 3 seed in the East. The Charlotte Hornets, a franchise that has never won a singular playoff series in franchise history. If my friend can hook me up with this Charlotte Hornets owner, because everyone scores over 100. I love B-Ball Breakdown, by the way. I think B-Ball Breakdown, Coach Nick, he's fantastic. We could do great things together. So if I go to the Charlotte Hornets next year, that team will be a top 3 seed in the East. Why? Because everybody scores over 100 points, so just forget that. They'll score over 100 points. Can you get stops defensively and give up? Any well-coached team defensively that pays attention to detail, that is well-coached defensively, will give up under 100 points. It's just the fact that the NBA is coached by disaster after disaster that everybody gives up over 100. There's no attention to detail. You're running drop coverage, which is you're just asking to be torched. It's not, and defense is not a talent thing. Defense is not, some people one-on-one defensively are better than others. Defense is a scheme thing. It's all team defense. You could have 5 of the best defensive players in the history of the NBA on the same floor. But if there's no attention to detail in guarding pick and rolls, if there's no attention to detail in guarding down screens, if there's no attention to detail in rotations out of doubles, you're not doing anything. Defense is all scheme. It's all basketball IQ. It's all attention to detail. And nobody in the NBA cares. No one. You want to know another team who's not going anywhere? And I'm going to do a video on this. Erik Spoelstra has run the Heat into the ground. The Miami Heat are cooked. They might be trading Jimmy Butler. Guess what? It doesn't matter if they trade Jimmy Butler. They're not going anywhere. They wouldn't have been in the finals last year if Giannis had stayed healthy in the first round. This past year, they got plastered by the Celtics. The Miami Heat don't care about winning. Go look at the Miami Heat. Go look at the next 5 years for the Heat. Not winning anything. They haven't won anything in over a decade. They have LeBron, Bosh, Wade. They win. Heat culture and Erik Spoelstra. It is the biggest fraud in the NBA. In the NBA. People tell me to turn on Super Chat. I do not care about. I don't need your money. Okay? I need the exposure. I need the @CavsDan tweets. This is crap. By the way, the LA Clippers, Steve Ballmer, you don't care about winning. You're worth about $100 billion. You bought a Clippers team and are holding them hostage. They have no shot of winning with Tyronn Lue. Go watch the coaching. Go watch the coaching of Tyronn Lue. You do not care about winning. You don't care about winning at all. The Clippers. It's not. By the way, the Clippers. This is how much of a joke Tyronn Lue is. Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, elite defensive wings. How many points they give up? I could go look it up on NBA.com. It was over 110 points a game. That's how big of a joke Tyronn Lue is. And you just extended him. Defense, please understand, defense has nothing to do with talent. It has everything to do with scheme and attention to detail. I could have, and everyone's got to play on a string and play together. You can have 3 defensive players all doing the right things defensively. If 2 guys are not in backside help on pick and rolls, if 2 guys are not calling out flare screens, if 2 guys are just ignoring down screens, not going to matter. Not going anywhere. It's all attention to detail and scheme. That's why the NBA is such a disgrace that everybody clears on. The Memphis Grizzlies, who were this is just all you need. This right here is all you need to know about NBA coaching. The Memphis Grizzlies last year were a G League team. It was Jaren Jackson and G League players. Jaren Jackson and G League. They scored 106 points a game. That's how pathetic the NBA coaching is from the defensive side of the basketball. That's what a disgrace. That is a G League team. Averaged 106 points in the NBA. That's disgusting. That's the NBA. That's the coaching everyone supports. That's what it is. The Portland Trailblazers, not serious about winning. Not serious about. Go look at Chauncey Billups. Go look at Blazers tape. Go look at it. Not serious about winning. Not even close. Gave up 120 points a game. It's going to be the same defensive. Not serious. Paul Allen's sister who owns the team. You're not interested in winning. You brought Chauncey Billups back. You're not interested in winning. That defensive scheme in Portland is a joke. Sacramento Kings, not interested in winning. Mike Brown, go look at the Kings tape. Go look at their play-in loss. Go look at some of the regular. I did all the film. Sacramento Kings, not interested in winning. Next year, Sacramento Kings, maybe, and I'd give it about a 30% chance we'll get to the second round and then be destroyed. Sacramento Kings, not interested in winning. Vivek Ranadive, garbage. You have Mike Brown. You're not interested in winning. You're not winning a championship. Not even close. Sacramento Kings, not interested in winning. Yeah. So, it's what's funny to me is obviously the Nuggets lost. Yeah, my name was Donald Donovan. The Bulls would be winning a championship next year. Instead, what are they going to do? What's it called? And this is going to be great. The Denver Nuggets lost KCP. They lost Bruce Brown. They have no depth. They have Nikola Jokic, Aaron Gordon, Jamal Murray, Michael Porter Jr., and nothing else. So they're going to start a replacement player at shooting guard. They'll have no bench. That's going to be great. The Michael Malone stuff has to stop. This guy is garbage. He's a product of nepotism. If Brendan Malone wasn't his father, he wouldn't be coaching in the NBA. And then that whole coaching staff. You have Flip Saunders, Flip Saunders, one of the worst coaches in NBA history. Failed with the Timberwolves, failed with the Pistons, failed with the Wizards, then failed with the Timberwolves again. So he was terrible, and now his son, complete garbage, who also was the head coach of the Timberwolves, complete garbage. No, I do not need to be a head coach. Just let me run your defense, and you can call me whatever you want. Assistant coach, video coordinator, you can pay me whatever you want. Title, it doesn't matter. But yes, the Charlotte Hornets next year would be a top 3 seed in the East if I was running their defense, because they give up under 100 and everybody scores over 100. Who'd the Hornets hire? Charles Lee? Ugh. Yeah, Charles Lee will be a disaster. You know where Charles Lee came from? Mike Budenholzer. So he's going to run deep drop coverage with Mark Williams there in Charlotte. And they'll go nowhere. Not serious about winning. The Wizards, not serious about winning. Not serious about winning at all. You hired Brian O'Keefe, who was Wes Unseld Jr.'s assistant. Not serious about winning. If you gave up under 100 points, the Wizards would be a top 3 seed in the East. Not serious about winning. The Pacers, not serious about winning. No chance of winning a championship with Rick Carlisle. Absolutely none. Absolutely none. You have no chance. None. Rick Carlisle's a disgrace. The Pacers will be out in the first round. The only reason they won 2 rounds because the Knicks got injured and then Giannis didn't play. Indiana Pacers, not serious about winning. Chicago Bulls, not serious about winning. Billy Donovan, are you kidding me? Billy Donovan. Have you seen what he's done in Chicago? Look at the film on that. They've never won a playoff series. Billy Donovan's back, not serious about winning. No point in even playing next year. Why do people buy tickets to that? Why am I buying tickets to a Chicago Bulls game? Why? The team has no chance of going anywhere. None. In the next 3 years, 5 years, no chance. Why do people buy tickets? Why is there a single person at the United Center? Why? And then Billy Donovan gets to hire his kid. So Billy Donovan's terrible. So now we're going to have his offspring. That's what it is? Why is anyone buying a Chicago Bulls ticket? Why? It's complete. New Orleans Pelicans, same thing. I mean, go on and on. Portland Trailblazers. It's all disgusting. It's all terrible. I mean, Joe Mazzulla is going to win a lot. That Celtics team is absolutely loaded, and now everybody's signed. The Celtics for the next 5 years, the Celtics, I think, at least win 2 more championships. That everyone's signed and everyone's 26, 27 years old. I mean, they're lying. It's disgusting. It's not even this whole apron thing. It doesn't even matter. The Celtics have Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Derek White, Drew Holiday. That's Kristaps Porzingis. That's 5 guys that easily could be all-stars. That's their starting 5. Al Horford will probably retire. And Al Horford's going to probably retire. And they'll just, the bench, they'll be fine. Peyton Pritchard's there. He's fine. Yeah, no, it's the NBA owners. It's the NBA owners who are not serious about winning. Cavs, Dan on Twitter. You're not serious about winning. You hired Kenny Atkinson. You have why does anyone go to a Cavs game? Why does anyone go to Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse? The Cavs have no chance of winning next year. None. They'll be out in the second round if they get to the second round. None. You're not serious about winning. You go look at Kenny Atkinson, the defense they ran in Golden State. Go look at Kenny Atkinson's defense in Brooklyn. You have no chance of winning. None. Why does anyone buy a ticket? Why? You buying a ticket tells those owners and those coaches it's okay what they do. Again, any well-coached team defensively will give up under 100 points. It's not hard. It's attention to detail. It's scheme. And no one does it in the NBA. Not one. And I'm the only one to talk about it. You know what we're not going to do? Talk about meaningless free agent. KCP, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope signing with the Magic is meaningless. The Magic have no chance of going anywhere. First, second round, done. Not serious about winning. Jamal Mosley's terrible. Go look at Game 7. You're giving Donovan Mitchell wide open threes off pick and rolls. That's Donovan Mitchell. So it's just my pain. It's just my suffering. But I'm excited about the West. And the East. I think the East, God forbid Joel Embiid stays healthy. The top 3 in the East are powerhouses. Philly, New York, Boston. Those will be great series. Anything after that, Doc Rivers has ruined the Bucks. The Magic are a nothing. The Cavaliers are a nothing. Got it. Hopefully, the Cavaliers going to ruin the second round of the playoffs again. Did you see that doozy against the Celtics? 5 games gone. Yeah, I have New York ahead of Philadelphia. I think New York is clearly second in the East, even with the Paul George signing. Who else is in the East? The Bulls are a complete disaster. They're not serious about winning. The Miami Heat are a complete disaster. Eric Spoelstra and Heat culture is the biggest fraud in the NBA. Miami Heat are going nowhere. Keep Jimmy Butler. Trade him. It doesn't matter. You're not going anywhere. Look at your defense. You're on deep drop coverage with Bam Adebayo. Not going anywhere. Not serious about winning. Eric Spoelstra's pathetic. He hasn't won anything in over a decade. Eric Spoelstra wouldn't even still be the coach in Miami if LeBron, Bosh, and Wade didn't decide to all play there. Does Eric Spoelstra get credit for winning 2 championships with 3 Hall of Famers? No. He's pathetic. He's awful. Yeah, the Hawks, not serious about winning. Why does anyone buy an Atlanta Hawks ticket? Why? Why do you buy a Hawks ticket? The Resler family, who owns the Hawks. You're not serious about winning. You have Quinn Snyder. I think the Hawks had like one of the worst defenses in NBA history. Why is Quinn Snyder still? You're going to lose. And by the way, when the Hawks lose, they don't have their first round pick for the next 3 years. Spurs own it outright next year. The year after, they can swap picks, and the year after, they own it outright. So the Hawks are going to be terrible. Quinn Snyder will be fired in like a year or two. And then what? There's no point in playing basketball. Let me, yeah. Honestly, unfortunately, because I like the Lakers a lot, it's getting to the point where the Lakers, it's not even there's no point of them playing basketball. By the way, no on Phil Handy coming back to the Lakers. I saw Jared Dudley. I think Jared Dudley and Phil Handy are 2 of the most useless human beings ever on the planet. Like the Lakers and Mavericks didn't win or lose a singular game because Phil Handy and Jared Dudley were on that coaching staff. Whatever they made, yeah. Yes, the Thunder and Timberwolves right now, I think, are the top 2 teams in the West, but they are very beatable. Very beatable. Memphis, very beatable. The West is wide open. Honestly, the West is more open than the East. I think the East is pretty slam shut. I think it's New York and Boston and maybe Philadelphia, but there's a lot of injury concerns. Honestly, the rest of the Eastern Conference, there's 12 teams in the East that have no point in playing basketball next year. None. 12 teams not serious about winning. Honestly, it might as well just be Knicks, Sixers, Celtics, play each other a bunch of times and then play them in the playoffs. Yeah, I mean, Isaiah Hartenstein signing with the Thunder is big. I don't like the Thunder. I can't stand the Timberwolves, but that's the 2 best teams in the West. It's really sad that the Lakers or Warriors won't be able to, because of inadequate coaching, will not be able to beat them. So, yeah, I don't know. The Isaiah Hartenstein signing with Oklahoma City is big. I mean, they needed help on the front line. Chet Holmgren can't do it all. Isaiah Hartenstein's unbelievable rebounding the ball. That signing made sense. The DeJounte Murray trade was a complete go to sleep. Who cares? The New Orleans Pelicans are a disgrace. Zion Williamson played like 74 games this year. What ended up happening? You were the 8th seed in the play-in and got swept in the first round. Pelicans going nowhere. Yeah, the Pistons just guarantee, and the Pistons just decided it's just like signing your own death certificate. It's signing your own death. You hired J.B. Bickerstaff. You're not going anywhere. The Pistons, there's no point in the Pistons playing basketball the next 3 years. None. Yeah, Milwaukee's completely cooked. Damian Lillard's absolutely atrocious defensively. They're going to run deep drop coverage again with Brook Lopez. The Bucks have no chance. Bucks have absolutely no chance. They'll win some regular season games. I mean, they went 15-17 with Doc Rivers, which is like impressive when you have Giannis. The Bucks are completely finished, completely done. They're not serious about winning. You're paying Doc Rivers $10 million a year. 10. You're not serious about winning. Go look at the film. You're not serious about winning. I'm telling you, next year in the East, 12 teams in the East. By the way, it's just a countdown to when Giannis asks out, by the way. When is Giannis going to ask out? That's just basically what we're waiting for. Because next year, the Bucks aren't winning anything. So does Giannis want to waste another year of his prime with Doc Rivers? Okay, fine. So 12 teams in the East have no point in playing basketball next year. None. Let's go over them. Milwaukee, Orlando, Cleveland. No point in playing basketball next year. Who else? Miami, Chicago. No point in playing basketball. Pacers. No point in playing basketball. Pistons, Wizards, Hornets. Unless I can get involved with the Hornets. No point in playing basketball. None. Who am I missing? I'm missing someone. Oh, Brooklyn. No point. Honestly, next year, the Eastern Conference just be the Knicks, 76ers, and Celtics just playing each other. That's it. There's no point in anyone playing. The West is wide open, though. There's a lot going on in the West. I would say Minnesota and Oklahoma City for sure. I guess I don't think Denver's got a chance. Oh, the Raptors. Yeah, Raptors have no chance. The Utah Jazz. Yeah, someone's bringing up the Utah Jazz. Complete disgrace. Will Hardy. Go look at Jazz film. They're giving up like 122 points a night. It's a complete disgrace. Will Hardy's back there. It's incredible. Will Hardy's everything wrong with society. This is my biggest problem with the NBA, is that it does not matter how bad you are at your job. It doesn't matter. Steven Silas coached the Bobcats to a 7-59 record. What happened after that? Got a head coaching job with the Rockets. And what they were like, whether they were like 200 games below 500. It doesn't matter how bad you are at your job. Kenny Atkinson was terrible in Brooklyn, goes to Golden State, tanks that dynasty, gets a head coaching job. J.B. Bickerstaff, complete garbage in Memphis, complete garbage in Cleveland, gets the head coaching job with the Pistons. What's the point? It doesn't matter how bad you are at your job. Steven Silas, after being a terrible coach with the Rockets for 3 years, becomes an associate head coach with the Pistons. What's the point? Luke Walton was an assistant coach with the Cavs this year. Complete dreck with the Lakers. Absolutely awful in Sacramento. What happens? He becomes an assistant in Cleveland. Why? There's no point. How good you are at your job does not matter in the NBA. It's just recycle it over and over and over again. Brian O'Keefe was an assistant coach with the Wizards when they were horrible. And now, and then as an interim coach goes 8-31. 8-31. And now is the head coach of the Wizards off an 8-31 record as the interim coach. It's gross. And nobody says anything. Nobody does anything. And you want to hear something that I heard? A friend of mine sent this. And you want to know something? A friend of mine sent this, that Chris Broussard, and this is what I'm talking about with the media. Chris Broussard, who has a show on FS1, said these words. He said that the Lakers should seriously consider hiring Monty Williams as the head coach. He said that. Those were his words after the Pistons won 14 games. Those people like Chris Broussard are as big a part of the problem as any. That you're telling the Lakers they should hire Monty Williams. That you're saying that Monty Williams should be anywhere other than banned from a basketball gymnasium for the rest of his life. That's what you get at FS1. Chris Broussard saying that Monty Williams should be the head coach of the Lakers. He has a show on FS1, and that's what he says. That's unbelievable. And that's what happens when you turn on TV. And, we talked about it in the finals. Kyrie Irving was not good in the finals. Was definitely not good. You know what no one brought up? How awful Jason Kidd was at putting him in situations to succeed. No one. And I mean no one. I got to talk about it on B-Ball Breakdown. I hope to be on there again. But nobody brought up the fact that Kyrie Irving, that the Celtics are switching everything, and the Mavericks did a terrible job putting him in mismatches, getting him to go up one-on-one with Al Horford, getting him in drop coverage against Porzingis, getting him going one-on-one with Sam Hauser. They did it one game in Game 4, and they scored 121 points. That was their best offensive game, and they won. And no one said anything. Not Zach Lowe, not Brian Windhorst, not anyone anywhere said anything. It was just, Stephen A. Smith. Kyrie Irving's got to play better. No, he doesn't. Jason Kidd's got to put Kyrie Irving in situations to be better. So, but yeah, I mean, hang on, I got to take off my socks. So, yeah. So, I don't know. I mean, free agency has been kind of boring. Free agency, the new, so free agency, nothing's happened in free agency that moves the needle at all. Klay Thompson to the Mavericks and Isaiah Hartenstein to the Thunder maybe slightly move the needle because those two teams have chances. Nothing else matters. Oh, the Pistons signed Tobias Harris. Okay. So you signed Tobias Harris. What, are you going to win 22 games this year? You have J.B. Bickerstaff. And obviously the other thing that has really set me back and really makes me angry is what's going on with the Indiana Fever. Look how good Caitlin Clark is. Look at how good Caitlin Clark is. And look at that coaching staff with the Fever. Look at it. And no one says anything. No one. Go look at their film when they lost to the Seattle Storm. Go look at their film when they lost to the Chicago Sky. It's terrible. It's awful. And no one says anything. Why doesn't Caitlin Clark... Caitlin Clark's rookie season in the WNBA has been completely ruined by coaching. Completely ruined. So, I don't know. I'd like to look at film if I can. I guess I can share a screen. We can look at some Kenny Atkinson film. I have it all on my page. Yeah. So, I don't know. That's it. What else happened in free agency? Andre Drummond re-signed with the Sixers. Okay, that's fine. The Sixers in the East are a fringy team to me. I definitely think Boston's better than them. I think the Knicks are better than them. So yeah, and then you have Nick Nurse. So you have complete dreck as a coach in Nick Nurse. Complete dreck. So Nick Nurse will do everything in his power. Nick Nurse will do everything in his power for the Sixers to not win next year. Everything in his power. The Sixers, I mean, Tyrese Maxey, Paul George, Joel Embiid. You got Andre Drummond and Paul Reed off the bench. DeAnthony Melton signed with the Warriors. That's meaningless. So nothing's really happened. But my main point is the sheer amount of NBA teams that are not serious about winning because of the coaches that you have. Every NBA team scores over 100. So if you give up under 100, and if you're a well-coached defensive team, you should give up under 100 points. And no one can do it. No one. Because they're still running drop coverage. They're still not guarding pin downs. Yeah, Steve Kerr is terrible. He's ruined the Warriors dynasty. Completely ended it. The last 2 years have been a disgrace. Yes, my name is Donald Adisman. I don't even really have that many stories. The Suns are not serious at all. Matt Ishbia is not serious about winning. You hired Mike Budenholzer. You're going to watch the Suns next year. Yusuf Nurkic is going to be in deep drop coverage, and the Suns are going to get destroyed. And by the way, their bench wasn't good. It's going to get worse. Eric Gordon signed in Philadelphia. Drew Eubanks signed somewhere. Signed in Utah. Who are they bringing back? All they have, Royce O'Neal's a nothing. Suns are done. Matt Ishbia, it's another guy. You spent $4 billion to buy an NBA team. You're not serious about winning. I could go fix the Suns right now. Suns are gonna score. Suns will score 115, 120 with Budenholzer. They'll give up 130. That's what's gonna happen for the Suns. Suns have no reason to play the next 5 years. Could you imagine buying an NBA team for $4 billion and you hire Mike Budenholzer and Frank Vogel and David Fizdale? You're not serious about winning. Complete waste of money. $4 billion. Throw it in the garbage. It's just, yes, my profile pic is getting changed to Doc Rivers. I hate when people ask me who the best coaches are in the NBA because what am I supposed to say? Eric Spoelstra, who's not won anything in over a decade and is about to run the Heat into the ground. So is that who I'm supposed to say? Spoelstra? Am I supposed to say Greg Popovich, who's I think won 36 games combined the last 2 years and who hasn't been relevant in probably 7-8 years? Yes, I would love to coach in the WNBA. It would be amazing. I would love to coach in the WNBA. That would be awesome. That would be just incredible. It would warm. I live in Detroit. We used to have the Detroit Shock. It's too bad they're gone. I would love to coach in the WNBA. I could fix the Indiana Fever right now. WNBA, the only team anybody cares about watching in the WNBA is the Indiana Fever and Caitlin Clark. Some people care about watching the Chicago Sky and Angel Reese. By the way, the Chicago Sky are terrible. But the WNBA, everyone wants to watch Caitlin Clark, and they're not going to go. They probably will make the playoffs as like an 8 seed and go nowhere. Think how many millions of dollars the WNBA is costing itself by having that crap coaching the Fever, having that pile of garbage, that whole coaching staff. It's gross. It just costs money. Think how much money the NBA loses when a glamour franchise like the Lakers can't get out of the first round, can't get to the NBA Finals because you had Darvin Ham, you had Frank Vogel, now you have JJ Redick. It's a joke. You have these glamour franchises worth billions of dollars. The Golden State Warriors, they're one of the glamour franchises in the NBA. You have Steve Kerr actively running it into the ground. I did countless Warriors games last year, actively running it into the ground. actively. Yeah, so I don't know. The Celtics are for sale. Who's gonna buy the Celtics? Do we have an idea of who's gonna buy the Celtics? They're gonna probably go for $5 billion, I'd assume. I mean, the Celtics are gonna be great. Joe Mazzulla's a complete waste of time, but that starting five is ridiculous. You have five. The Celtics have 5 All-Stars starting in they have an All-Star team in their starting five. Derek White, Drew Holiday, Tatum, Brown, Porzingis. That's 5 All-Stars right there. It's incredible. The Knicks Celtics, if Tom Thibodeau cannot run the Knicks into the ground again and just keep people healthy, his coaching will have nothing to do with it. Just keep people healthy. You've got crazy depth now. The Knicks are a Knicks Celtics. Now, the problem with the Knicks is that their center position, I mean, Mitchell Robinson, I guess, has got to say, losing Hartenstein's a big deal. But they have wings for days. So they're going to be an interesting team to watch. Now, Tom Thibodeau, again, will do everything in his power to ruin the Knicks. Yeah, I have a real connection with the Charlotte Hornets. Rick Schnall. Look that up. Rick Schnall. Everyone talk about that. Rick Schnall. I want to type that in. I have a real connection here. Rick Schnall. A friend of mine who's never helped me before in his life might actually help me here get in touch with Rick Schnall. There you go. No, if you, Tom, that Knicks series against the Pacers was a complete joke. The fact the Knicks lost to the Pacers was disgusting. They gave up like 137 points in Game 7. How can I say that? How? No. Cavs Dan is who we really want to talk to. Tom Thibodeau in a Game 7 gave up 137 points to the Pacers. 137 points in a Game 7. He's terrible. And that stupid Roommates show. And who's this guy Matt Hillman on the Roommates show? Why are we... that Roommates show, that really... Talk about Tom Thibodeau's terribleness. The film's right there. You gave up 137 points in a Game 7. 137 points. Yes, Rick Schnall potentially knows secret tunnels out of North Korea. But how can you tell me that we're not living in North Korea when J.B. Bickerstaff and Kenny Atkinson were the last 2 head coaching hires? How can you not say that? How? Go look at it. Because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how good or bad you are at your job in the NBA. You're just, as long as you're in the NBA, you'll just keep getting jobs. Luke Walton was an assistant coach for the Cavs last year. Why? Why is he allowed in a basketball gym? Sidney Lowe was an assistant coach for the Cavs. Go look up his work, where he's been. Complete disgrace. Darvin Ham, complete failure in Milwaukee. Guess what happens? He becomes the lead assistant in Milwaukee. It's a joke. That's another thing. Why are the Bucks hiring Darvin Ham? Why? It's I gotta stand up. I have a lot of energy. Oh my God. Okay. We gotta stand up. But yeah, I mean, oh my God, I have a headache. But yeah, it's a complete disgrace. And it's everything wrong with society. David Fizdale was atrocious coaching the Knicks and Grizzlies. And then was atrocious as an assistant with the Suns. And then was atrocious as an assistant with the Suns of bringing him back. Not serious about winning. Matt Ishbia spent $4 billion on an NBA team, and you have David Fizdale as an assistant coach back-to-back years. And then you went back-to-back years with Vogel and Budenholzer. 2 complete wastes of space. Completely awful. It's unbelievable. Yeah, you Cavs Dan. You kept J.B. Bickerstaff around when it was clear he was a disgrace. And you brought in Luke Walton. Luke Walton you're not serious about winning. It's a terror organization because I can go in there, I can fix these teams. You're not touching Steve Kerr is the best coach of all time. Someone just wrote that. That is really unbelievable. When you go look at what the Warriors did last year. You can go look at the Warriors film. Go look at I did a bunch of Warriors games. all the games that Steve Kerr ruined for them. They lost in the play-in game with Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, Andrew Wiggins. Play-in game. Play-in game. Didn't even make the playoffs. You have a top, Steph Curry is easily a top 10 player still in the league. Maybe top 5, maybe still top 5. And Steve Kerr lost in the play-in. Lost in the play-in. And then what the Cavs do? So that Warriors team loses in the play-in. What do the Cavs do? They go hire the associate head coach of the Warriors, who with Steph Curry, Draymond Green, Klay Thompson, Andrew Wiggins. That's 4 All-Stars. You lost in the play-in, and you went and hired the associate head coach of that team. That's a complete joke. Go look at the film. It's just awful. It's just really bad. It's just really bad. Let's get that Twitter, please. Let's get that. Please follow me on Twitter. That'd be really helpful. Let's get the Twitter. Mods, can we get the Twitter out there? Mods, Jax, Lou Ven. Let's get the Twitter out there. Also, Discord link. We want to get the Discord link out there. This is all such good stuff. I can't believe only 781 people are watching this. Honestly, the entire world should be watching this. Certainly, Cavs Dan should be watching this. Certainly, Matt Ishbia should be watching this. Certainly, Gail Benson, who owns the Pelicans, should be watching this. Certainly, Wes Edens, who owns the Bucks, should be watching this. Thanks, Jax. And then let's get the Twitter. Can we get the Twitter up there, Jax? That's very nice of you. Thank you. Raymond Keys back. But yeah, I mean, it's just really, it's, thanks. Thank you, Jax. Wow, look at Jax. But yeah, I mean, you're just not serious about winning. Why is drop coverage? I have no idea. That's a great question. That's the best question I've ever been asked. Why is drop coverage such a popular scheme when it's terrible? I have no idea. You can trace the NBA's offensive explosion to when drop coverage started to be a major thing. Go watch it in the 90s. They were hedging screens in the 90s. Hedging. Keeping ball handlers out of the lane. Keeping ball handlers out of the lane. It's just unbelievable, man. It's so sad. There's so many NBA franchises that just don't care about winning. You hire Kenny Atkinson, you're instantly not winning. You have no chance. You're not getting out of the second round. The Pistons hired J.B. Bickerstaff, going nowhere. Going to be terrible the next 3 years. Just not serious about winning. It's sad because I spend a lot of time studying basketball film and how this can be fixed. And you have the crap that we look at over and over. Do I hate my life? I don't know if I hate my life. Should be a lot better. Right, and they make money. That's who gets paid. That's why I say we live in that's why we live in North Korea. Human garbage gets paid millions of dollars to coach in the NBA. I don't know how many times I can show it. How many times can I show it? And they get paid millions of dollars. And all of us that actually know what we're talking about, nothing. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Stonewalled at every corner. Yes, my shirt is Burberry, PP. Greatest player of all time, Michael Jordan. Who taught you about coaching? I first of all worked for Synergy Technology, which was a film breakdown company. And then I coached high school, college, and then professionally overseas. So I don't need to be the head coach of an NBA team. I do not need to be a head coach of an NBA team. Just let me run your defense, please. I can be a consultant if that makes it sound better so that the stupid assistant coaches and head coaches can keep their titles. So, yes, I could turn the Blazers around. Any NBA team. Remember, score under 100, give up less than 100, and you will win. And when people ask me who's a great NBA coach, no one. Everybody gives up over 100. A well-coached defensive team does not give up over 100 points. Attention to detail. Very dialed in on film. Very dialed in to discipline. You give up under 100 points. Here's how you give up under 100 points. I'll tell you right now. You can't run drop coverage. You cannot run drop coverage. If you're running drop coverage, you're definitely giving up over 100 points every night. I don't even need to see anything else. You're definitely giving up over 100 points. So easy money. You're asking me which coaches I like. Every NBA team gives up over 100 points. No well-coached team defensively gives up over 100 points. Can the roommates talk about that? Tibbs with a healthy team, how many points the Knicks give up? How many points the Knicks give up? With two elite defensive wings and Josh Hart and OG Anunoby gave up well over 100 points. Yes, you still gave up over 100 points. You had OG Anunoby, who I personally think is the best wing defender in the NBA, and Josh Hart, who's really good. Tom Thibodeau's defense gave up 137 points in a Game 7. Do you identify how insane that is? How ridiculous that is? And I'm supposed to sit here and tell you that Tom Thibodeau is a good defensive coach? 137 points in a Game 7. It doesn't matter. Coaching defense is not about talent. It is about scheme and attention to detail and being well coached. I can have 5 of the greatest defensive players ever, but if I'm running drop coverage, if I'm completely ignoring pin downs, if I have no idea how to rotate out of double teams, it's not going to matter. You're still going to give up well over 100. There's a lot of teams. The Boston Celtics have 4 all-defensive players in their starting lineup, and Kristaps Porzingis is really good defensively as well. They gave up 109 points a game defensively. Not well coached. Not well coached. That's with 4 of the best defensive players in the league give up 109 points a game. Not well coached. Talent not well coached, but that shows you that talent doesn't matter. If your scheme is gross, if you're running drop coverage, if you're ignoring down screens, which I point out time and time again, if I was running the Pistons defense, if you let me run the Pistons defense, okay, and I want to get into that in a second. I'm going to get into exactly what that. The Pistons would be the number one seed in the East with the Pistons next year. Instead, you're going to have J.B. Bickerstaff, and they're going to be awful, and they're going to do this. There's no point. Why'd they fire Monty Williams? What was the point of firing Monty Williams? You just hired the same thing. So, okay. So now, when I say attention to detail defensively, what am I talking about? So I'm talking about you're never running drop coverage, right? You're either icing screens with backside help or hedging screens with backside help. What does icing a screen and what does hedging a screen do? It keeps the ball handler out of the lane. You have to keep the ball handler out of the lane. Drop coverage is asking for the defender to get in the lane. Icing a screen means you keep the ball handler to the sidelines and out of the lane. Hedging a screen means you push him out to half court, out towards the sidelines and out of the lane. Now I can get in backside help. Because I've kept the ball handler out of the lane, now if a skip pass gets made, I can recover or I can X out. God, I have got to do a film of just showing how drop coverage ruins NBA teams, ruins them. So, okay, what else do you need to do? How else do you need? Well, you got to know where your help coverage is defensively. There's no hand checking in the NBA. So playing one-on-one defense is very difficult. I have to know where my help coverage is. Okay? Am I forcing them baseline and doubling, then rotating? Okay? Boom. Are there defenders in the gaps on the wing? Boom. We got to be in the gaps. Now, how do I play defense in the gaps? That means on my back I'm always seeing ball and man. Always seeing ball and man. With my feet set, I can stunt, get the dribble, clog the driving lane up, recover. I'm always in the gaps. You cannot hug the three-point line and not see the ball. If you're guarding in the corner, if you're guarding on the wing, you've got to have your back to the – when the ball's at the top of the key, my back has to be to the baseline. Has to be to the baseline. Okay? We've got to be able to clog that up. There's a drill called the shell drill. Go look up the shell drill. It teaches you where to be defensively away from the ball and how my feet are set. And I'm right back out and I'm clogging up driving lanes. That's how you do it. And then on down screens, you see the Warriors, you see all these teams. There's one way to guard a down screen. One way to guard a down screen. Ryder Haley. Yeah. Charlotte guy. But down screen. So this is amazing. It's truly unbelievable. So when you run a down screen, that means that's an off-ball screen, and like I'm setting a screen and trying to have someone curl off it. There is only one way to guard a down screen. There is not 2 and 3 and 4 ways to guard a down screen. The only way you guard a down screen is I'm attached to if my man is setting the screen. I'm attached to the screener with my arms extended. That's called showing. What does that do? It doesn't allow the player coming off the down screen to curl off of it. It forces him to have to go out. And now I have time to get over the screen. Cross screens. There's not 2 and 3 ways to guard a cross screen. If my man is setting the screen, I must get attached to the man setting the cross screen and jam the player coming through the cross screen so that the player getting screened has time to get on the other side. And you see teams screw it up over and over again. Do I like doing live streams more? I mean, I love looking at film. Like if I can incorporate film into the live streams, I just like showing how awful the coaching is defensively. I don't get to do that without film. I could draw up a whiteboard. I don't know if you guys would like that, though. Whenever I started looking at film, the numbers dropped. How are only 711 people watching this? Every single person in the world should be watching this live stream. This affects all of us. How? And you know, I of course these YouTube channels that are actively and Hoop Venue, Thinking Basketball, those are the main two. I love Coach Nick at B-Ball Breakdown. But those channels show clips, they show film of the atrocious defense going on, and they say nothing. They don't point out anything ever. It's such a disgrace. Like they have these really cool video edits and they do it in slow motion and they've got some nice analytics graphics that are worthless and they say and do nothing. I love B-Ball Breakdown and Coach Nick. He's phenomenal. I should be back on that channel. I should be back on that channel soon because he does, Hoop Venue. Go look at Hoop Venue's videos. I've wanted to react to that for forever. That you are showing film of clear mistakes happening defensively. Clear mistakes. And you're not pointing it out. But you are doing it in slow motion, and you do have a cool analytics graphic. Someone asked me my thoughts on Chase defense. That's what Chase defense is what I'm talking about on down screens right there and cross screens. That's what that is. You're chasing over the top of a down screen. But that defender has to be attached to the screener with his arms extended showing so the player coming off the screen can't curl. If the player curls coming off of a down screen, the player getting screened is not going to have time to get over the top. And I didn't see one NBA team do it right this year. Not one. Who's Stefan? I don't know what that is. I would love to react to yeah, I mean NBA owners. I don't have a Patreon account. No, but yeah, NBA owners hold everyone back. They hold everyone back because they just recycle this garbage. It's right there. I can't stop pointing it out. It's right there. Right there. Follow my Twitter, by the way, at Awful Coaching 1. Twitter. Let's make sure we have the email. I love emails. hateusma1@gmail.com. That's your email right there. So there is no good NBA owner. There's no good NBA coach. Every NBA team gives up well over 100 points. No well-coached team defensively gives up over 100 points consistently night to night. Not any. The Boston Celtics had 4 all-defensive players who gave up 109 points. Get out. Let's get that Discord link in there. Let me Someone sent me the Discord link. I'm going to, there's some great stuff going on in the Discord. We really, yeah, there's the Discord. Thank you. Thank you, Josh. The Discord is right here. There you go. That's the Discord. So, yeah, I mean, Steve Kerr's actively, the Warriors are not winning anything next year. They're not winning anything. Steve Kerr's ruining that franchise. It's an $8 billion franchise. And look at the film. Look at who's coach. We live in North Korea. And these owners are the reason. They're the ones that hire this crap. They're the ones that take a look at the film and you hire that. Dan Gilbert at Cavs Dan on Twitter went and watched the Warriors last year. They went and watched the Warriors last year. That defense. And they said, we want that here. Mind you, that's a team with Steph Curry, a top 10 player in the league they didn't make the playoffs. They weren't one of the 8 best teams in a conference. And you hired that associate head coach. That's who you hired. And guess what the Cavs are going to do next year? It's without a doubt. Without a doubt, the Cavs are going to go to the playoffs. They have Donovan Mitchell. They'll win regular season games and get blasted in either the first or second round. Someone asked me how to guard Jokic. Someone asked you how to guard Jokic. Jokic is going to destroy anybody in the post. Anybody in the post. So you've got to double. Now, how do you double the post? NBA teams screw this up all the time. First of all, when I'm going to double the post, what is my objective doubling the post? To get the dribble picked up. That is it. I am not, once Jokic puts the ball on the ground, I'm going to double. Dribbles picked up, bang, I'm rotating to the weak side of the floor. And your rotations have to be on point. Have to be on point. As soon as the man that goes down to double goes to double, the man's got to rotate over to the man who just went to double. And then you keep those rotations going. And then you double as soon as Jokic's dribbles picked up, boom, I'm gone to the weak side of the floor. And those rotations are not hard, but you got to go over them over and over and over again. You cannot single team Nikola Jokic. You cannot do it. He will destroy you. He will destroy you. And you certainly cannot run drop coverage against Nikola Jokic. That will get destroyed. And Jamal Murray specifically. Because when you run, how many Lakers films did we look at where they were running drop coverage? And it's just because when you're running drop coverage, you can't have backside help. So Jokic is just rolling into the paint with no one guarding him. He's catching it. It's an open floater. He's catching it and drawing a defender, and then someone's open baseline on a cut. You can't do it. You cannot run drop coverage, and you have to double. And then when you double, you're not giving up open threes when you double, when you rotate the right way. Doubling, dribbles picked up, immediate rotations. But the Lake, forget about it. The Lakers doubling Jokic was a complete abomination. You're going to double. No one's rotating immediately. It's just open catch and shoot three. So yes, when you double the post and don't rotate like Darvin Ham did, by the way, he's the lead assistant now in Milwaukee. When you double the post like that and don't rotate, yes, you're going to give up wide open threes. It was unbelievable. The first clip, I believe it was game 2. Yes, it's game 2. You go look at Lakers Nuggets game 2. I did that right there. Austin Reeves went to double on the first possession of the game. He goes to double Nikola Jokic. Now they did rotate to Austin Reeves' man. The problem is Austin. They had Austin Reeves rotating from the post to the corner. No. Austin Reeves goes to double. He's got to go to that opposite block. And LeBron in that corner needed to rotate to the corner. LeBron in that opposite block. Who's that? I hated drop coverage. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, it's the owners. Jeannie Buss is just, there's no one worse. Jeannie Buss has ruined the Lakers, has completely ruined the Lakers. What is the worst defense you have ever seen in your life? Wow, that's a great question. Who asked that? Mr. Foxney. What is the worst defense you have ever seen in your life? Boy, Quinn Snyder with the Hawks is way up there. Popovich is way up there. Go if you watch the film, Joel Embiid dropped, I think, was it 70? How many points did Joel Embiid score in that one? He scored like 78 or something against the Spurs. Go watch the defense, and guess what it was most over and over again? It was run drop coverage. Let Joel Embiid cook you from the elbows and in over and over, because you can't have backside help. So they were Tyrese Maxey comes off a screen. Joel Embiid rolls underneath the elbow, catch and shoot every time. Catch and bully ball. And Quinn Snyder's way up there. Greg Popovich, their defense this year, in the last 2 years, was unlike any. Go watch highlights of Spurs games and go watch their drop coverage. Lob after lob after lob after lob. It's a dunk contest. It's disgusting. And no one changes anything. No one changes anything. Thoughts? Someone asked me thoughts on the Hawk Tua girl. She needs to take her platform and discuss what I'm discussing. No more Hawk Tua. That was funny. Now let's talk about NBA coaching. Okay? Let's talk about, By the way, one more time. Let's give a first of all, you know what the Hawk Tua girl should. You know what the Hawk Tua girl should be doing next? Giving a nice round of applause to Tyronn Lue, who completely ran the Clippers into the ground. And whose fault is it? It's Steve Ballmer. You hired Tyronn Lue, who you knew was atrocious. By the way, he was the assistant under Doc Rivers, who was terrible. Let's give a nice round of applause. Tyronn Lue, you just ran Kawhi Leonard and Paul George with incredible depth. And you got to one conference finals. One. Round of applause. That is certainly, let's have a moment of silence. Good. And then you just extended Ty Lue, which is even more disgraceful, which is even more disgusting. You extended Tyronn Lue. That everybody on the planet should be watching this live stream and talking about what happened with the Clippers and Tyronn Lue. That franchise is dead. Dead. They have no chance of winning anything, and they don't own any of their first-round picks. None of their first-round picks. None of their first-round picks. And the Clippers are dead. And I could fix the Clippers. I could fix you. Oh, if you watch the Clippers against the Mavericks when they were giving up 128 points, go watch that defense. And Steve Ballmer extended that coaching staff. That is the ultimate. It does not matter how good or bad you are in the NBA. You're going to keep your job. Doesn't matter. Does not matter. Monty Williams was absolute garbage in Phoenix. Was atrocious. Lost by 50 to the Nuggets in Game 6 the last year he was there. Lost by like 70 to the Mavericks in Game 7. What happens? $78 million, breaks the record for the highest paid coach in NBA history to coach the Pistons. Shockingly, he was terrible. They won 14 games, and now he gets $65 million out the door. That's a disgrace. And I'm the only one talking about it. I'm the only single human, and the 656 people that are watching this live stream. How is everybody in the world not talking about this? My name is Donald Hadesman. Oh, yeah. Wes Unseld Jr., by the way, the horrendous head coach. Yes, I just saw that. Where's Wes Unseld Jr.? I got to look that up. Wes Unseld Jr., who was a complete disgrace. This is the NBA for you. Where did Wes Unseld Jr. get hired? Wes Unseld Jr. The Chicago Bulls. That's unbelievable. You are not serious about winning. You are not serious. The Chicago Bulls hired Wes Unseld Jr. He's their lead assistant. That is everything that you need to know about the NBA. Everything. Wes Unseld Jr. was an absolute disgrace with the Wizards. Do I have my water up here? I got to get my water. Wes Unseld Jr. was an absolute disgrace with the Wizards. And what happens? He gets hired to be the associate head coach of the Bulls. So now you have Billy Donovan and Wes Unseld Jr. coaching the Bulls. And you're telling me you're serious about winning anything in the next 3 to 5 years. Okay, Raymond Key, I just explained this. In the NBA, everyone's talented in the NBA. Coaching is everything in the NBA because everybody scores over. Jared Dudley's the most useless human being I think ever in NBA history. Every team scores over 100. So if you can just find a well-coached, attention to detail defense, you'll give up under 100 and you will win a lot of games. Whether it's the Pistons, whether it's the Cavs, whether it's whoever, the Wizards, and no one can do it. No one can do it. No one. Jealous of the Bulls. I've talked about all these teams. Yeah, someone said joined late. Thoughts on the Tobias Harris signing? There's no point in talking about it. It will change nothing with the Pistons. They're still not going to even make the play-in. Let's check text. Yeah, Tobias Harris signing means nothing. There's not even a point in a writer writing a single word about it. There's not a point in anybody talking about it. It's a complete waste of air talking about Tobias Harris signing with the Pistons. What needs to be talked about is that they hired J.B. Bickerstaff, and they have no chance of winning in the next 3 years. None. 3 years, 5 years, none. No chance. J.B. Bickerstaff you're not serious about winning. Look at the Cavs film. The Detroit Pistons, Tom Gores, Arn Tellem, this amazing agent, Arn Tellem, right? Who's now a chairman with the Pistons. You looked at that Cavs Celtics film from the second round of the playoffs when the Cavs were hedging screens and the ball handler was turning the corner every time. When the Cavs were literally not guarding certain screens. You went and looked at that and you said, that's going to be our head coach. It's a slap in the face to everybody, everywhere, whether you're into basketball or not. Because it doesn't matter how good or bad you are at your job in the NBA. You're just going to get another one and get another one and get another one. I just went over how to fix the Suns. It's the same. You fix the Suns the same way you fix any team. You cannot run drop coverage. They hired Mike Budenholzer. He's going to run drop. I like that the Lakers drafted Bronny. That means LeBron will come back and the Lakers will be interesting to watch. What points would I emphasize in a 60-minute film review session with Doc Rivers? It's all defense. It's all defense. Like the offense in the NBA, everyone scores over 100. It's all defense. And defense is all attention to detail and being sound and being well coached. That's all defense is. And nobody can do it. No one. And I dare show it over and over again. And yet the same teams hire the same piles of garbage. At Cavs Dan. Yeah, I mean, switch, and someone asked me about switch-heavy defenses. Switch. You can switch. You have to have help, but that's what. And the Mavericks switched everything in the finals. The Celtics did too. But if you're switching everything, first of all, you're gonna have to know. You're gonna have to be. If you're switching I don't mind switching everything. I think switching everything is great. You don't have to. There's no backside defender needed. You just switch. But you have to have. You got to know where your help is. Because bigs are going to get switched onto guards. I've got to be sound in the gaps. I got to know where the help's coming from. If I'm doubling baseline, I've got to know that so everybody's ready to rotate. Like it's all any defensive scheme is any ball screen defense, any pick and roll defense besides drop coverage will work if it is executed properly. That's the amazing thing. And these schemes are not that hard to execute. If you're switching and you're in the gaps and doing everything the way you're supposed to be, it'll work. If you're icing a screen, it'll work. If you have backside up, you're keeping the ball handle to the sidelines. If you're hedging a screen, it will work. If you're not letting the ball handler turn the corner and you have backside help. All of this stuff works if it's executed properly. And Hoop Venue, this guy, he tweeted a link, or he tweeted some stupid analytics. He tweeted some bullshit analytics about the Timberwolves. He tweeted some analytic where he goes, guess which 2 games the Timberwolves ran drop coverage? It was games 1 and 4. That was their best defense. They still gave up like 111 points. The point is yes, the Timberwolves were hedging in games 2 and 3 and letting everyone turn the corner, and they were trapping, and there was no backside help. The analytics in the NBA has got to. The analytics are so. It's guaranteed nothing. Guaranteed nothing if you're running analytics. Guaranteed, it's nothing. It's all nonsense. All those numbers are nonsense. Are you giving up? Here's the analytic that matters. Are you giving up over 100 points defensively? Are you? Because if the answer is no, then you would need to change your defensive scheme. That's the analytic. And Hoop Venue. I don't need to see what does he do off the catch. What does he do? I don't need to see that. I need to see what's your defensive scheme. Show the clip. Was there a mistake made? Probably. And that's how you fix it. That's how you fix it. That's how you fix it. Yeah, JJ Redick saying he wants to use math is just him saying that he's going to run drop coverage. And it's going to ruin the Lakers again. And LeBron's going to be 41. My ideal defense to run in the NBA, one of the things that I really am interested in is jamming the screener and going under. I think because that's another scheme where you don't have to have any rotation, no backside help. Like if you just jam the screener and go under, you're good. Because when I jam the screener, I'm easily able to get under on the other side. And I'm basically showing when I jam the screener, I got my hands out. Oh man. What else is there? Yeah, the Lake. Yeah, so the Lake. It's funny because LeBron James is. If LeBron had more than 6 championships, which he should have won, and you can blame, Cavs Dan. You can blame Cavs Dan. LeBron James not being the GOAT, you can blame Cavs Dan. How many years was he with the Cavs? 12? 11? You won 1 title in 11 years with the second greatest player in NBA history, maybe the greatest. You won 1 championship in 11 years. That's why Dan Gilbert and then the coaches he hired, Mike Brown, David Blatt, Tyronn Lue. Who was the coach before Mike Brown? Paul Silas. So you had Paul Silas, Mike Brown, David Blatt, Tyronn Lue. That's what you had. 11. That is incredible. That is incredible. The Cavaliers had, and not just 11 years of LeBron, 11 years of peak greatest ever LeBron, and you won 1 championship. 1. And if Draymond Green doesn't get suspended, you probably win none. But guess why you didn't win? You had Mike Brown. How long was Mike Brown the coach of the Cavs? 5 years? 6 years? You had human vomit coaching that team, and you saw it over and over again. Yes, if my name was Donald Silas, the Cavs would have won championships. How stupid is that? How stupid is that? And who's there to blame? You won 1 championship with arguably the greatest player of all time in 11 years because you had Tyronn Lue and you had David Blatt and you had Mike Brown. That's a disgrace. Mike Brown was coaching LeBron James at the peak of his powers, and didn't win a thing with LeBron James. Not a thing. Not only that, Mike Brown was the head coach of the Cavs again after that. Look at how disgraceful, and you wonder why Cavs Dan's pinned. Yeah, people keep asking about the Knicks. the Knicks are going to be amazing. I am worried they're going to be running drop coverage with Mitchell Robinson. By the way, so you want to ask me about, you people ask me about Tom Thibodeau. Go watch. So that game, the game they lost to Philadelphia, they were up 3-1. So it was game 5. They were up 7, right? Was it 7? Yeah, no, they were up 6 with 30 seconds left. This is what you need to know about Tom Thibodeau. This is what yes, of course, I'm breaking down the Olympics. This is what you need to know about Tom Thibodeau. They were up 6 with 27 seconds left. What is the one thing you can't give up when you're up 6? Is a 3. What did Tom Thibodeau do? Ran drop coverage with Tyrese Maxey, who comes off the screen wide open for a 3-and-1. So that instantly cut the lead from 6-2. Then you split at the line to go up 3. What can I not give? I'm up 3 with 10 seconds left. What can I not give up? A 3. What did the Knicks do? Drop coverage again, and Tyrese Maxey's left open. Tyrese Maxey, you're running drop coverage. What are you doing? Yes, no. Drop coverage doesn't pretty much create a 2-on-1 every time. It does every time. And then if somebody helps from the corner, if someone's in backside help from the corner, if somebody comes in backside help, from the corner because the guard is in the lane, that's an easy skip pass. Easy. He's in the lane. It's not even a skip pass. The player's one pass away. If you run drop coverage, you are guaranteed to give up a lob, a wide open mid-range jumper. Who's Ari? Oh, Ari. Hey. If you run drop coverage, you're guaranteed to give up a wide open, and I mean wide open, mid-range jumper. You're guaranteed to either let the ball handler get to the rim for a layup, or you're giving up a lob. Or that lob wouldn't be available because somebody stepped in and backside help from the weak side of the floor. And now it's just an easy pass out to the corner for a wide open 3. So when you run drop coverage, you're only giving up stuff wide open. And that's exactly why. That's why the Boston Celtics, I keep going back to this, they had 4 players in their starting lineup, all defensive players in their starting lineup, and still gave up 109 points a game. Still. Because you're in that drop coverage. It does not matter how skilled you are defensively, individually as a player. If you're running drop coverage, you have absolutely no chance of not getting destroyed. Absolutely no chance of not getting destroyed. None. You can have the Celtics basically did. Celtics had 4 of the best defensive players in their starting lineup give 109 points. Because if you're running drop coverage, there's nothing you can do. Doesn't matter how good you are defensively. You're getting screened. You're going to be behind the play. And the big's left in a 2-on-1. Doesn't matter. The offense in the NBA is fine. There's nothing. It's funny so why don't teams hedge? Teams do hedge in the NBA. It's actually pretty amazing. I love Bronny James to the Lakers. I think it's amazing. I love it. And there's nothing nepotistic about it. What's nepotism is J.B. Bickerstaff. What's nepotism is Brendan Malone. What's nepotism is Steve Kerr's son, who's gonna continue to ruin the Warriors. No, I'm sorry. What's nepotism is J.B. Bickerstaff. That's nepotism. Steven Silas, J.B. Bickerstaff ruined the Cavs and Grizzlies. That's nepotism. Michael Malone, who's with a coach who was terrible, who ruined the Kings, and then has won 1 title in 10 years with the Nuggets. That's nepotism. Ryan Saunders coaching the Timberwolves. That's nepotism. Billy Donovan III, because being the head coach of the Bulls G League team, and Bill will continue to run the Bulls into the ground. That's nepotism. Steve Kerr's son, being an assistant, being a head coach of the Warriors G League team. Steve Kerr's terrible. His son's even worse. That's nepotism. Bronny James to the Lakers is not nepotism. You know why? Because LeBron James impacts winning. Lots of it. So if he wants his son to if he wants his son to be on the Lakers, good. Hire him. Or draft him. He impacts winning. What doesn't impact winning is me hiring Billy Donovan's kid. That actually impacts losing. Me hiring J.B. Bickerstaff. That impacts losing. Bronny James has nothing to, that is not nepotism. That is not. All right, I hate drop coverage. Says send him the Mavs film. I'm sending it to Ishbia. All right. Look out for the Hornets. Look out for the Hornets. Matt Colt keeps texting me. Yeah, and I get this question every time. Any girls, any update on the girls that you are trying to get with? Not really, no. Not really. Not really. Not really. Not really. If we get into that, I don't even want to get into that. What team would you coach if you had the choice? I mean, I would love, because I would love to coach. I'd love to coach the Pistons. I live in Detroit. I mean, I hate the Pistons. I don't root for them, even sort of. But I live in Detroit. I could turn them around. I could turn around the Pistons instantly. I could turn them around tomorrow. The Pistons would be a top 3 seed in the East if they'd let me run their defense. Top 3 in the East. And yeah, that would be the Pistons. I live here. I live about 15 minutes away from where the Pistons play. I live in the suburbs of Detroit. Yeah, that'd be the team. And I'd fix the Pistons tomorrow. They would never run drop coverage. They'd give up under 100 points. Here's how I could fix the Pistons. Don't let J.B. Bickerstaff go anywhere near the defense. I could go fix them. They give up under 100 points. They'd be a top 3 seed in the East. Fixed. Deep playoff run. Fixed. So, it's the same thing with the Cavs, though. I mean, the Cavs are obviously even a lot better team than the Pistons. I can go fix the Cavs tomorrow. The Cavs would be the Cavs would be in the NBA Finals if I could just run their defense. If you would just let me fix that dreck that is if you made sure Kenny Atkinson went nowhere, right? If you didn't let Kenny Atkinson go anywhere near the defense and you let me run the defense, the Cavs would be in the finals. Cavs would be in the finals. And why not? Why am I standing here screaming and breaking down film on YouTube? Why am I not fixing the Cavs? Why? Or the Pistons or the Suns or anyone? Why? What is the point of the arguing? You look at the film does not lie. You know who lies? People lie. The film does not lie. And I show more film over and over again of atrocious defense and how it can be fixed. And people still want to argue. Owners still want to argue. The god-awful people in the organizations want to argue. God, I'd really like to say someone's name who if I ever make it like big, there's just one person that I really just want to, oh man. So, people keep asking me about Clay. I am really not. John Shire's absolutely awful. Go look at the Duke film from when they lost in the Elite Eight. Please go do that. Klay Thompson, I am not a big believer in the Mavericks. I think it was kind of a fluke that they got to the finals. I think that it took an all-time horrendous coaching job by Mike Onori and Chris Finch to get them in the finals. And then Mark Daigneault was terrible. I don't think the Klay Thompson thing is that big of a deal. I think the West is wide open, and it'd be nice to see the Lakers take advantage. It'd be really nice to see the Lakers take advantage. It'd be really nice to see the Lakers take advantage, but again, you're going to have JJ Redick. I use math. Cavs Dan will in any live stream I ever do at Cavs Dan's Twitter handle will be pinned every single time, because that is a disgrace. Oh my God, that press conference today was. I heard Kobe Altman saying, "Oh, you worked with such great influences." I think and Steve Kerr. Sebastian Posner asked, do I have any connections to the league to get a job? No, I don't. Not really. I mean, I have some friends that could help me. Up to this point, they have not. Um, you know what was amazing? You know what was amazing is and this is another thing. Um, this is another thing. If you watch the when Kentucky lost to Oakland in the first round of the when Kentucky lost to Oakland in the first round of the tournament, it was absolutely that I don't know if you guys remember that one guy in Oakland, Jack Golke, hit like I don't know how many threes he hit like 10 threes or something. And it was just him coming off down. I just explained this earlier. It's him. He was coming off down screens every single time. Every single time it was being left wide open. Was being left wide open because they weren't showing off the down screen. If your man is setting a down screen or a pin down, they're trying to curl off that down screen. If I'm guarding the screener, I've got to be attached with my arms extended and show so that player can't curl. You force them to have to go out, and it gives the defender time to get over the screen. And John Calipari didn't do that once. It's the most disgusting coached game ever. And and what happens? John Calipari doesn't even get fired. He goes to Arkansas. He gets $8 million a year to go to Arkansas. It's just we live in North Korea. We live in North Korea. Go look at that Kentucky film. Please go watch Kentucky versus Oakland. I did a breakdown of it. It did well. People ask me who would be my ideal coaching staff. It's a good question. I don't know. I would hire if I was a head coach, I would hire like 3 or 4 people from YouTube. I'd hire YouTube people. I'd hire 3 of you guys. 5 of you guys. I'd hire 5 of you guys. Oh, and Coach Nick. I have to hire Coach Nick. Coach Nick's great. Gotta love Coach Nick. B-ball breakdown. Just fantastic. Hopefully I'll be on soon. Yes, Evan Steven Siegel. Yes, I would hire you. You know, wouldn't be hired worthless people like Jared Dudley, worthless people like Phil Handy. What does Phil Handy do? Okay, this is a great question. Thoughts on the Van Gundys. So the Van Gundys have been coaching in the NBA for like 100 years. Do you know how many championships the Van Gundys have won in their like 30 years combined of coaching? None. 0. Why is Jeff Van Gundy? First of all, so they've won nothing. Jeff Van Gundy is hilariously now going to be the lead assistant for the Clippers. Why is Jeff Van Gundy and Stan Van Gundy analysts? They're terrible. They've literally been head coaches in the NBA combined like 30 years, and they've never won a thing. Well, first of all, why do they keep getting hired? But secondly, why are they analysts? And why is Jeff Van Gundy the lead assistant with the Clippers? He's never won anything. He ruined the Knicks. He coached the Knicks for 6 years? Never won anything. Coached the Rockets. Jeff Van Gundy ruined Tracy McGrady's career. Jeff Van Gundy never got out of the first round of the playoffs with Tracy McGrady. Didn't get out of the first round. And he becomes the main analyst on ABC. Why do I want to listen to a word that comes out of his mouth? Why? And now he's the lead assistant with the Clippers. Couldn't get out of the first round of the playoffs with Jeff Van Gundy, with Tracy McGrady. He ruined Tracy McGrady's career. All of the entire career that Tracy McGrady had, where he was unbelievable, and won nothing. You can point to Jeff Van Gundy in Houston and Doc Rivers in Orlando. That's who you can point to. And it's just. And then they become analysts. Why am I listening to Stan Van Gundy on TNT? You're horrible. You won nothing in Miami. You won nothing in Orlando. You won nothing in Detroit. Where else was he? New Orleans. You never won anything there. Why am I listening? Why are you the main TNT analyst? So we can hear what not to do, how not to win? No, I would never hire Tom Thibodeau. I would never hire Tom Thibodeau ever. Will the Spurs make the playoffs? That's an interesting one. Greg Popovich is horrible. But, I mean, Wembanyama's that good. I don't think Chris Paul matters. The Spurs might be a play-in team. I don't know. They got to make a move. Their cap space is dwindling. I think the Spurs are going to wait. I think it's actually going to be interesting. You're going to see You're going to see what happened with LeBron in Cleveland happened in San Antonio. Is they're going to waste They're going to waste the first several years of Wembanyama's career. They're not going to win anything. The Spurs are not going anywhere. Next 3 to 4 or 5 years, not winning anything. By the way, Bill Simmons is another person who has a podcast and never brings up any of this stuff. Never brings up any of this stuff. No, I would not hire Rick Brunson. No. Him and Jalen can stay. I mean, Jalen Brunson's great, but I don't need his worthless father, who, again, has won nothing ever as an assistant coach, ever. Yes, no, I would not hire Mike Inori. The Spurs, the same thing that happened with the Cavs, with LeBron James, his first 8 years in Cleveland, where the Cavs won nothing. They're going to waste the first 8 years of Wembanyama. The Spurs are going to waste the first 8 years of Wembanyama. They're not winning anything next year. Chris Paul could not be a more meaningless signing than Chris Paul. Dinner with Darvin Ham, obviously over $1,000. Nope, Ime Udoka runs drop coverage. He's one of the worst with running drop coverage. He would never be anywhere near. The Rockets aren't going anywhere. Rockets are not serious about winning. Tillman Fertitta, the owner. No, but the same thing. The first 8 years of LeBron's career in Cleveland is about to happen in San Antonio. They're not going to win anything. I don't know how they're not. I don't even know who they took fourth in the draft. Was it Reed Shepard? Is that who they took fourth? Doesn't matter. This draft was terrible. They're going to be a play-in team, maybe. What does that mean? That means they're probably drafting 12th next year. They're going to completely waste Wembanyama. Wembanyama is, for a rookie, that was the greatest rookie season I've ever seen. He was unbelievable. He's incredible. He does everything. And they're going to waste it. And they're going to waste because they're going to run drop coverage. They're going to put Wembanyama. You could see what the Spurs did. They put Wembanyama in drop coverage over and over again. And he's getting fried because it's a 2-on-1. It's just lob after lob or open jumper after open jumper. Greg Popovich will ruin Victor Wembanyama's first 6-7 years. And I think he'll ask out of San Antonio eventually. I don't think 10 years from now, I do not see Wembanyama on the Spurs. I think it's going to be the same thing with LeBron in Cleveland. They're going to ruin his first 5 to 6 years and he's going to be gone. He's going to be gone. That's my prediction with Wembanyama. Remember, the Spurs won immediately with Tim Duncan because they had another Hall of Famer in David Robinson. That's why they won immediately. And then they added Tony Parker and Manu Ginobili. There's no Tony Parker and Manu Ginobili coming to San Antonio right now. They're going to watch. Greg Popovich, who's terrible, who's absolute garbage, go look at the film, is going to ruin Wembanyama's first 5 to 6 years in the NBA. 100%. 100%. 100%, and it's going to be really sad. But it's just like LeBron in Cleveland. It's just like, Dan Gilbert, who owned the Cavs. You had Mike Brown coaching LeBron James. You ruined his first 8 years in the league. You didn't win a single thing with LeBron James at the peak of his powers. The peak of his powers because you had Mike Brown. Because you had Mike Brown, go look at the film. And now go look at Mike Brown now. Why is Mike Brown still in the league? He's never won anything. He's never won a thing. He has coached everywhere. He was the coach of Cleveland. Do you want to know we live in North Korea is that Mike Brown was the Cleveland Cavaliers head coach a second time. He coached LeBron James at the peak of his powers, and they never made it to the finals. Never. I think only made one conference finals. Did the Cavs? The Cavs made one conference finals with LeBron James his first 8 years there. And Dan Gilbert at Cavs Dan wanted to hire Mike Brown a second time. That if there's any evidence of that we live in North Korea, it's that Mike Brown coached the Cavs a second time. A second time, and go look at the film. It's not just me ranting. Go look at the film. Go look at Mike Brown's defense. Go look at it. That is an utter disgrace. And again, it's going to be an argument whether you think LeBron's the greatest player. It's LeBron and Michael Jordan, but Jordan's always going to have more titles than him. Jordan's going to have 6. LeBron's going to have 4. Why? Because he's played for nothing but garbage. Mike Brown, Paul Silas, right? Father of the terrible Steven Silas. Who else? He played for Mike Brown, Paul Silas, Who was after him? Oh, Spoelstra. Spoelstra got him 2 titles. That is another thing about Spoelstra. Eric Spoelstra with LeBron, Bosh, Wade, all in their primes, won 2 championships in 4 years. How am I not getting a three-peat out of that? How? And by the way, it took a Ray Allen miracle 3 for them to even win their second title. With LeBron, Bosh, Wade in their primes, you got pasted by the Spurs the last year there. So whatever. You played for Eric Spoelstra, human vomit. Then where did he go? He came back to the Cavs, played for David Blatt and Tyronn Lue. We've seen how atrocious they are. You win 1 there. Then you go to the Lakers. You win 1 championship in the bubble and nothing else. And you're going to end up with 4 titles. And it's going to be because of the coaches you played for. That's it. The coaching has killed. If LeBron had more than 6 titles, he'd be the GOAT. There'd be no argument. He'd have every statistical category on Michael Jordan ever. But he's going to have 2 less titles because of the coaching. It's unbelievable. The first 8 years of LeBron's career, they never made the finals because you had Mike Brown. That's a disgrace. That is an utter disgrace. Oh, he did make the finals, and they got swept by San Antonio. I forgot about that. And they were barely even there. You made the finals and got swept. So and then that same thing's going to happen in San Antonio. Same exact thing. Same exact thing's going to happen in San Antonio with Wembanyama. They're not getting to the finals. I don't know how they're going to put a second guy there. I don't know how. Brad Stevens was terrible. What did Brad Stevens never made the finals? Didn't make the finals once. Brad Stevens' last year in Boston, I think they got swept in the first round, or they lost in 5 games. And then the next year with the same exact players made the finals. Brad Stevens, horrible. Great, really good GM, player acquisition-wise. I think the best defensive player in the NBA is, it's really hard for me to not say OG Anunoby. OG Anunoby is unbelievable defensively. Now, Tom Thibodeau does his best to put him in terrible spots. OG Anunoby is unbelievable. I mean, he can guard 1 through 5. He's incredible. Derek White's way up there. Derek White is unbelievable. Drew Holiday's way up. I'd go with OG Anunoby, though. That would be my. But isn't that sad? And I'm the only person talking about this, that LeBron James is stuck with 4 championships. He's been unbelievable for 21 years now in the NBA. And he's won 4 titles. Because look at the garbage he's played for. Look at the human pile of waste of coaches he played for. It's Mike Brown, Tyronn Lue. By the way, one more. Can we give another round of applause? Just another round of applause for Tyronn Lue destroying the Clippers, destroying Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, and insane depth. Let's give a round of applause to Tyronn Lue. Nice job. And let's give another round of applause to Steve Ballmer for extending Tyronn Lue after you just ruined the Clippers. You just ruined the Clippers. Let's extend you. Let's give a big round of applause to Steve Ballmer and Tyronn Lue. Steve Ballmer is not serious about winning. You just extended Tyronn Lue. And why was Tyronn Lue even hired? He was the lead assistant for Doc Rivers with the Clippers when they never won anything. Never won a thing. Round of applause. Nice job. So you went from you fired Doc Rivers and then hire his lead assistant. Hire his lead assistant. That's the NBA. That is the North Korean NBA if there's ever been an example. Well, probably the biggest one is Mike Brown being the head coach of the Cavs a second time. That might be the most one. This is a great question. I answered this last time. Would Dan Hurley be a great coach in the NBA? He already answered that question. Dan Hurley already answered the question of whether he'd be a good coach in the NBA. No, he said no. You know why Dan Hurley didn't go to the NBA? Because he would fail with the Lakers. He'd run drop. He'd fail. No coach would ever not go from college basketball coaching. There's not coaching. It's recruiting. Okay? Why does Dan Hurley win in college? Because he had 4 to 5 first-round picks on his team the last 2 years. That's why he won. So I think no college basketball. I know that no college basketball coach is any good, because if they were any good, they'd be in the NBA. You don't coach college. College, you got to recruit, So this is why Dan Hurley would fail in the NBA. Because at UConn, he gets 4 and 5 first-round picks every year. Every year. That's how he won championships. Mike Krzyzewski, the same thing. You're getting the best recruiting classes. You're getting the best transfers. Like, that doesn't happen in the NBA. In the NBA, you have a salary cap. So, like what John Calipari did at Kentucky, or what Mike Krzyzewski did at Duke, or what Tom Izzo does at Michigan State, is it'd be the equivalent of every year an NBA team getting to take the best free agents every year, and there being no salary cap, and the best free agents just go to the best NBA team, go to the same NBA team every year. That's what college basketball is. That's what it is. And the NBA is actually coaching because the talent is even, right? Salary cap, slotted draft picks. It'd be the equivalent. This is what it would be. Coaching in college, what Mike Krzyzewski did at Duke would, and by the way, Mike Krzyzewski turned down the Lakers. Why? Because he would have been a disaster, a complete failure. Mike Krzyzewski's a terrible basketball coach. He's good at bringing in players to a team. If John Calipari, and this is why he was a complete failure in the NBA, what John Calipari does would be the equivalent of the same NBA team getting the top free agents every year and getting the number 1 pick in the draft every year, every single year. The best free agents and the number 1 pick in the draft every year. That's what Calipari does. That's what Mike Krzyzewski does. That's what Tom Izzo does. That's why Tom Izzo took, and that's another. Dan Gilbert offered Tom Izzo the Cavs job. You know how awful that would. I did a Michigan State breakdown this year. Go look at how pathetic they are. And Tom Izzo said no. You know why? Because at Michigan State, he gets the best recruiting classes in the Big Ten every year, the best transfers. You don't get that in the NBA. You get a slotted draft pick, so you could be picking 10th, you could be picking 20th, and you have cap space. Sometimes you might have max cap space. Sometimes you might not have any at all, and that's what it is. Any college basketball coach is a joke. Okay, if they haven't done it in the NBA, get out. College basketball is nothing more than just bringing in the best recruits every year, bringing in the best transfers every year to the same 8 schools. And that's what happens there. And that's why John Calipari was complete vomit with the Nets in the 90s. And why, who else? Rick Pitino was complete garbage with the Celtics in the 90s. Who else? That's why Brad Stevens never did a thing with the Celtics. By the way, Brad Stevens led Butler. Brad Stevens had Gordon Hayward and Shelvin Mack. He had 2 NBA players in what conference were they even in? I don't even know what conference. They're one of the worst conferences. You had 2 NBA players, and he was recruiting at a much higher level than any team did in that conference. You're not doing that in the NBA. You're not getting the best recruits in the NBA every year. You're picking 15th in the draft. You might have like 10 million cap space. That's the NBA. Yeah, Billy Donovan. Billy Donovan's another example. Billy Donovan, when he won back-to-back titles with Florida, had Al Horford, Joakim Noah, Corey Brewer. 3 NBA players and the best recruits every year. Look at Billy Donovan in the NBA. With the Thunder, with the Bulls. The Bulls are one of the biggest messes in the NBA. Billy Donovan. What has Billy Donovan done with the Bulls? Never won a playoff. How is he still there? So Billy Donovan with the Bulls, his first year there, they lose in the first round. And then the next was like the last 2 years, they've lost in the play-in. Why is he still there? Why? And why is his son, Billy Donovan III, coaching the Bulls G League team? Why? Billy Donovan's terrible. I want his kid too? It's a joke. You know what? I think it's hilarious that Doc Rivers' kids are assistants in the NBA. Doc Rivers is horrible. We want his worthless kids too? He's worthless. So, I don't know. I don't have much left here. I don't know. I think it's a lot of fun. And you can come back at me. I have my Twitter. Let's break that. Get that Twitter out one more time. At Awful Coaching 1 Twitter. So you can tweet at me. I'll not going anywhere. Like these teams that we talk about, we've highlighted the Cavs, we've highlighted the Pistons, we've highlighted the Suns, We've highlighted, who else? We've highlighted the Pelicans. We've highlighted all these teams. No point, especially the Cavs is the biggest one to me. No point in the Cavs playing basketball for the next 5 years. None. I can tell you right now what's going to happen to the Cavs. Next 3 years, they'll be first or second round and out because they'll have Donovan Mitchell. Then Donovan Mitchell will ask out and they'll be terrible. And that's what happened. You hired Kenny Atkinson, and you saw the defense they were running. You've seen how the Cavs defense can be fixed, and that's what. And you're going to even though I show how these defenses can be, how the Cavs defense could be fixed. Okay, I showed it in great detail in that Celtics series and throughout the regular season. And you know what? You're going to make the same mistakes over and over again, and you're going to wonder why you don't win. You're going to wonder why. And that's us living in North Korea. That's us living in North Korea. But that's every team. That's the Pistons. You just hired J.B. Bickerstaff. You're not serious about winning. I can tell you the next 3 years for the Pistons. Nowhere. Lots of nowhere. You're not going anywhere. Remember, any team in the NBA, the Pistons, the Wizards, the Hornets, who else sucked? Whatever. Those 3 teams could be a top 3 seed in the East if you just could give up under 100 points a game on a consistent basis. If you could just be well coached defensively. That's it. You would be top 3 seed right there. Top 3 seed. I'm not running drop coverage. I'm icing, I'm hedging, I'm switching, I'm jamming and going under. I'm guarding every off-ball, every cross screen, every down screen. We're guarding it. Attach, jamming player as he comes through the cross screen. You'd win, and you'd be in the gaps. Always seeing ball and man, clogging up driving lanes, stunt, recover. That's it. But no team does it. Every team gives up over 100 points. It's a disgrace. It's an absolute disgrace. And I'll show it over and over again. Is J.B. Bickerstaff better than Monty Williams? He's the same thing. The Pistons, why did the Pistons fire Monty Williams if they're going to hire J.B. Bickerstaff? It's going to be the same thing. You might as well just kept $65 million and had Monty Williams continue to run the team into the ground. You need to fire him, pay him $65 million so J.B. Bickerstaff can win nothing? I don't know. Well, I think that's it. I wanted to look at film, but yeah, any film ideas for me coming up? I really want to show what a complete fraud and failure Eric Spoelstra and Heat culture is, because that certainly doesn't get enough talk. We'll do Olympics, Summer League, Bulls. Why are the Bulls? The Bulls are not the most irrelevant team in the NBA. I could name 20 teams just as irrelevant as the Bulls. 20 teams. I'll give you a quick: Pistons, Cavs, Suns, Pelicans, Heat, Magic, Wizards, Hornets, Nets. All irrelevant. No point in playing games. Who else? Give me some more teams. Bucks, completely irrelevant. Pacers, completely irrelevant. Who else? Lakers, as of now, completely irrelevant. Warriors, as of now, completely irrelevant. Denver, certainly. Well, Utah, completely irrelevant. Sacramento Kings, completely irrelevant. Absolutely. Portland Trailblazers, completely irrelevant. Not going anywhere. All those teams have no purpose playing games next year or the year after that or the year after that. No teams. None. Yeah, Sacramento Kings. Great fans, light the beam, all that. You have you're going nowhere. You have Mike Brown as your head coach. You seriously hired Mike Brown. He's been awful like 4 different times, and then you hired him a 5th time. No, the NBA does not need to bring back hand checking. They need to bring back actual good coaching defense. It does not have anything to do. Hand checking has something to do with it, but it's more the coaching. It's more the coaching that is a complete vomit. Complete vomit is everybody gives up over 100 points. That's a shame. That's a real shame. But when you have no attention to detail and your scheme is broken, that'll happen. You can have 4 all defensive players in your starting lineup like the Celtics, and if your scheme is broken, if you have no attention to detail, you give up 109 points a game in the NBA. You give up 100. That's what the Celtics did. That's all you got to know. Celtics had 4 of the best defensive players in the league. They gave up 109 points a game. Doesn't matter how talent means nothing defensively. It's scheme, it's attention to detail, and nobody talks about it. Nobody talks about it. You got Zach Lowe linking videos that mean nothing. So ridiculous. All right, I think I'm out. Just going to share that. Let's get the Twitter going. Really would like the discourse. Let's get the discourse going. Oh, my email, hateisma1@gmail.com. That's email. Please email me anytime. And then what is Discord one more time? There you go. There's the Discord. There's your Discord right there. So what did we miss? Yeah, free agency has been pretty much nothing. Paul George going to the Sixers is impactful. They maybe the Sixers maybe could be a threat in the East. Maybe. I doubt it. I still think they're behind New York and Boston. In the West, Klay Thompson to the Mavericks, I don't think matters at all. I don't think that matters at all. So nothing's really changed there. Chris Paul certainly doesn't matter with the Spurs. The Lakers make a big move or the Warriors make a big, if the Lakers or Warriors could get Lauri Markkanen, for example, someone like that, that would be very impactful. And the West is wide open. If the Lakers and Warriors don't make a big, the West is wide open. It is there for the taking. So, all right. Good stream. Again, but before we end the stream, let's give a round of applause to Tyronn Lue. I want to give a full round of applause to Tyronn Lue. You completely DeMar DeRozan to the Lakers. That would be interesting. Hold on. Round of applause to Tyronn Lue. Come on, we got to give a round of applause to Tyronn Lue. You completely ruined the Clippers franchise. Completely ruined. Just give a round of applause. Come on. Clap it up. Give me some, Tyronn Lue. Nice job. Steve Ballmer and Tyronn Lue. Steve Ballmer's worth $100 billion of dreck. You extended and kept Tyronn Lue. You had Doc Rivers and hired his top assistant. Round of applause. It's a great job. And again, as usual, round of applause to Dan Gilbert. You just hired Kenny Atkinson. You just guaranteed the same deep. You just guaranteed you're not winning anything. Pistons, same. I can't do it. The Tyronn Lue thing is the one that's most funny to me. One more clap. Come on. Tyronn Lue. Let's give him a round of applause. You completely destroyed the Clippers. You destroyed Paul George's career. You ended Kawhi Leonard's legacy. And that's it. And the Clippers are moving into a new arena and are going to be terrible. Yep. Round of applause. Round of applause. Nice job. Good job, Steve Ballmer. Nice job. Good job, Tyronn Lue. Great job. Keep it up, guys. You're complete disgraces to this country, to this world. You're everything wrong with society. All right. Peace.